This time on ijdm, taking a look at the Pioneer Vintage VSX 5700S receiver coming up next.
Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
Welcome back. This video was actually filmed concurrently with the Sony receiver you saw last episode, simply because I need to get these back into storage. So I said, well, I'll do them two back to back, see how they do. If there's more interest, I do have a couple more of these receivers laying around here, there, and everywhere. So there's always that. This receiver was a bit of an enigma because I'm not sure why, but I never saw it when I was growing up. Never saw it in the Sears stores or any of the hi-fi stores. It's, as far as I know, not part of the Pioneer Elite series, so I'm not sure exactly where this fell. This obviously was a very high-end Pioneer receiver. So with that, let's just get started, and we're going to go ahead and power this on because this display is just crazy busy. Yeah, I love it. I mean, this is like what I would expect when I turn on a expensive stereo receiver. Keep in mind that last one I did was just an amp. It didn't really have a built-in tuner or have video capabilities. It's just basically for audio. And then you had a separate tuner. Some people argue that was better because you had less interference on the tuner side, but I don't know if it really makes a difference or not. This display, we'll just start off with this just gorgeous display. It's amber and it's got some reds in it. I mean, it just looks great. Speaker selections show up here when you select between the different speaker selections. So it's A, B, and then center and rear if you turn those on. So we're just going to be using channel A for this video. It's got a V signal selector. That's to basically select your video signal. So if you had what they call the video disc player, you could have that, TV, or whatever without actually changing the audio source. It's kind of a neat little function that you could actually use this as like a little mini switcher if you wanted to. If you had a VCR recording something and you want to flip-flop between the two, you could theoretically do that. Then you got your V meters right here. They're not really dancing around because we'd have to tune in a station. So let's see if we can hit a station. There we go. Yeah, see, they're moving. They're moving and grooving. Now I'm not sure if I guess I just have to have more speakers set up or maybe change the selection. Anyhow, there is 2 meters on the outside, 1 in the middle. So it'd be your left surround speaker, right surround speaker, center, and then the 2 ones that are moving are your main speakers there. Then we have your tone, little indicator, whether you're above 0 or below it, depending on how much you crank it up. I find it sounds best with bass and treble totally cranked. What selection you're on, if you're on tuner, VCR, VDP. I mean, this thing has a honking load of inputs. I mean, just 10 looking at it here, and I'm sure there's ways you could probably add up to 12 if you did this the right way. So let's put this back into tuner mode. And then station presets here. Here's where you change your center level, the different surround modes. You have your volumes for your volume levels for your actual surround speakers. Your sound field, if you want to change the sound field to something sounding a little bit different. There's your bass and treble way over here, along with some acoustic settings as well. And there's a bunch of other smaller buttons for muting, a return button, and delay time, I think was to adjust the delay in the surround speakers. But one thing that's really cool, I'm not sure how well it's showing up on the camera, but is this little gimmick right here where they put the actual Dolby surround logo from the day in there with the Pro Logic on there. It looks just like you would see on the signs in movie theaters and cinemas back in the day. Just really neat looking. It adds something to it, like almost another level thing. This did have capability for multi-room remote, where I guess you could put another receiver in another room and control it from another room. I can try to explain that better, but I think we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, you could actually use the same remote and go in different rooms and still control your receiver. So again, high-end stuff going on here. Motorized volume control. And
one-on-one.
And it sounds absolutely great. I mean, for the year and everything, and this actually was sitting out in my garage, believe it or not, for about 5 or 6 years. So it's not the best looking on the backside, as you will see. And of course, your headphones plug in here, and then you get another Dolby surround thing right there. And the cool, old school, much superior than the one they have now, the old school Pioneer logo that just shouted, I'm a high-end piece of electronic, not that little cursive thing they have now. They need to go back to that logo. It really gave it that look with the Omega symbol and just those uppercase kind of that font they use. It just looks very cool, very almost Sony-like. That, you know, its presence is there, very commanding. Okay, let's flip around to the back side. We already kind of did the music thing.
So candidly, also,
I mean, you're not gonna be able to hear much out of my mic, and there's only one speaker connected. But yeah, it sounds great. And let's see if we can get maybe one more station to come in that's actually playing some music. Every time I turn on the radio, I swear it's just commercials 90% of the time, but that's the way it is. Station's not coming in the best, but it does sound good because I just have a wire, as you'll see, connected. But yeah, there you go. There's the surround sound stuff, and I'm trying to see if I can get all of them to go for you. Maybe if we change the center mode. Oh, there we go. There they all go. Yeah, so it's not quite, you know, a 5-band, but it kind of gives you the V levels of what each channel is sending out. And usually back then, I think the surround sound, the channels actually were just mono repeaters. I don't think they were actually really stereo. But yeah, that's cool. We'll just change that back since we don't have. You'd have to put it in what's called Phantom mode. Phantom, yeah, and that operates as just the regular Dolby surround without the Pro Logic. Okay, time to flip around. Good grief, that is a honking load of connectors in front of us here. Wow. I mean, I've had other receivers with just as many, but this is quite intimidating, really, to the novice user. So we have our standard clip plugs, a little different than the other ones where these actually snap in rather than spring-loaded. So these are, I find, a little bit easier to use to put your wires in there. Some people prefer those, or the spring-loaded or the banana plugs. This particular receiver unit has unswitched, and then it has switch plugs. So this one stays on constant regardless of the power state of the unit. There's your multi-room remote, where I guess you ran a wire to another room, and then some control functions. I believe it was related to CD changer, stuff like that. Got your speaker terminals here for main speakers, your surround speakers, and for some reason way over here, the center channel one is here, but they used spring-loaded on the center channel. I don't understand why you wouldn't just, maybe that's all that was available when they made this. Yeah, my connectors are a little toasty looking. Like I said, it was sitting out for a while, but I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but thing for 2 VCR connections, video output here, 2 channels of video output. This is usually for hooking up like a Spectrum or graphic equalizer in addition to what you have, or another type of preamp source. As far as I know, or up here rather. And then those might be something, it's more preamp stuff. So yeah, they just bridge those. You see those once in a while on older receivers from the 80s and 90s. Then you have your 2 tape deck connections, CD, and then there's a input for video disc player and just the line input, and then of course your turntable input there. Antennas connect here with a nice cool coax cable. If you had a thing called FM tap back in the day, you could actually plug a little box in, and then it would splice off your cable, and then you would plug it in, and you would get better antenna reception right off your cable. But that's long gone now. I mean, they don't, as far as I know, there's no areas that offer that anymore. Now that we're in the digital age, where this comes from an analog age. But that is the backside in a nutshell. So let's go ahead and flip this back around and finish this one up. That will do it for this show and tell video on the classic vintage Pioneer VSX 5700S receiver. We'll see you next time on ijdm. Thanks for watching.